Hey!
Hey there.
Welcome to the Gadget spot.
Tony's calling in.
Yeah, well, it sure sounds like I am. We got a microphone technical difficulty. Last week, Jaren had it, or 2 weeks ago, and this week it's my turn. So now that we've isolated it to the microphone, we're going to get that fixed before the next recording.
Frankly, I blame Behringer.
Is that who made your microphones?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Me too.
Behringer, you jerks.
Or is it Behringer?
I say Behringer.
Type up that hate note. Got it.
And now it's time to introduce ourselves. On Podcast Right, we have Owen.
Hello. Hey there, I'm Owen. You can follow me at my Twitter handle, at TechNoan. I'm new to Twitter, so I thought that was pretty clever.
You have at least one follower.
At least one.
It's me.
Yeah, it's Tony.
I decided not to follow him.
Oh, Jared.
It was painful.
What a mean.
Well, I eventually followed him.
Oh, okay.
After he put up a big fuss.
By fuss, he meant just sitting there.
Yeah. This all happened in my mind.
Yeah, fair enough. On Podcast Right, left. Right was Owen. Left, we have Jaren.
Jaren with an N. I was at a Rubio's the other day. I introduced myself as Jaren.
Uh-huh.
That's the end of the story.
That's a really good story.
My,
Where can they, you got a Twitter or something? Where can they find you?
I'm laughing uncontrollably right now. My Twitter handle is at Jaren.
Man, that is original. You're lucky you got it under only your name. Were you one of the first Twitterers?
Yeah, I was in the first 100 million.
That's good.
Yeah, there's not many Jarens out there.
Yeah. And then you got myself. I am Tony, known as Too Tall Tony, or Quad T, or Triple T.
He has identity problems.
I do. Multiple identity problems.
They're all cool, though.
Thank you, Owen. You can find me on the Twitters, at Quad T Tony, or you can also hear me on the Geek Show podcast. I'm a much smaller part of that podcast.
But he's large in stature.
But I'm large in stature. And that's a fun podcast, too. So, anyway, let's get this rolling. All right, so a few cool things have happened since the last time we met. In gaming news, The Division had another beta session. Well, I guess it'd be the first beta session. Before there was an alpha session a few months ago. And I got the opportunity to play the beta on PC.
So I don't get the hype over this game.
Okay.
It just seems like a normal game.
But it's not. Okay, it kind of is. But it's a very well made game. I can tell you that because I played it about 4 or 5 hours over the weekend. I put in a fair amount of time. So, the basis of The Division is in an alternate future. They don't say it's alternate, but it's a future where a virus has come through.
What was this, our future?
It could be our future. You never know.
Should we be getting ready?
Yes. Get your gas mask.
So this is like a zombie apocalypse training guide?
You think at first it's going to be something kind of like The Last of Us or something like that, but no. This virus that comes through and kills most of the population of at least New York City, and they haven't said if it's something that spread to the rest of the U.S. and the world, but it's just a virus that comes through and it kills a ton of the population, and so the society's in a shambles, and the governmental infrastructure is basically useless at this point. But there's this division, this agency of this branch of the government, not a branch, but this agency within the government called the Division, who has thousands of sleeper agents throughout the public community. And when this goes down, they activate these agents to try and kind of maintain some modicum of order within the city and whatnot. So you play one of these agents who gets activated, and you basically go around and try to help what little of the police is left, help people along the way, and
Help? How do you help people?
Basically killing other people.
So the virus is a enraging zombie apocalypse.
So, no, these people aren't infected either. They're just opportunistic
looters.
Looters, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I wish I could help with a gun.
I can get behind a game like that.
So there's a lot of looters, a lot of bad guys that you go around and kill. And it's set in the near future because there's some technology that's more advanced than what we have right now, but we're not talking like Modern Warfare 3 or, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 or anything like that. But I gotta say, it is pretty cool. On the PC, there are games that look as good as The Division, but I can't think of any games that look better than The Division.
Battlefront.
It's hard to say Battlefront. I guess you probably could if you're playing it on a super spec'd up PC like I was on The Division. But there's a huge difference being that The Division is open world.
Right.
There's a lot more to render than a multiplayer arena like in Battlefront.
So is it like online, massive multiplayer?
Yes, it's online, massive multiplayer. There's certain areas of the game that you go to that are PvP, or, well, they're not specifically PvP, but you can fight the other players.
In a third-person view here?
In a third-person view.
Okay.
Is it always in third person?
It's always in third person unless you zoom in on your scope on your gun or whatever. But I gotta say, they have nailed the shooting mechanics. Really good shooting mechanics, really good cover mechanics as a cover-based shooter. Just all around really fun, really cool setting. The graphics, like I said, quite nice on the PC. I've read on how it looks on PS4 and Xbox One, and
PS4 is better, obviously.
PS4 is a little bit better, but not by much actually. But yeah, as far as PS4 versus Xbox goes, the comparison videos I've seen show it as pretty dang close, which is surprising given how huge the game is. Now, what really stood out to me on the PC was the fog, smoke, and steam effects. The volumetric stuff on there was really good. I've never seen a game that has as good looking steam, fog, snow, like falling down snow, smoke, stuff like that.
It's important in shower scenes in games.
Indeed it is. And if there were any working showers in this post-virus future, I'm sure it would be very important.
I also like how realistic this game is. It says that the state's government collapsed in 5 days of this happening.
Is that what it says?
Just 5 days. Smallpox virus, and actually pretty realistic attack vector being that it happens on Black Friday. So
yeah.
the virus is transmitted by a smallpox virus on money, banknotes, on Black Friday, which,
this is why I don't touch cash.
Yeah, right.
Germaphobe.
But that's
is gross.
Black Friday. Our greed ends to the end of the world, to the collapse of the government in 5 days.
Well, see, and that was what was one of the things that's so interesting. Aside from just looking really good in general, one thing that also sticks out about this game is the amount of crap on the screen. There is stuff everywhere. Cars busted down, pulled over. You walk down some streets and garbage bags are pushed to the side on the sidewalk all the way up to the second story. And it's just garbage bags, and there's garbage all over in the streets.
Are there garbage bags flying through the air?
There's like pieces of paper and stuff.
Oh, there's always pieces of paper.
Yeah,
but still goes along with that good fog and that effect, the stuff flying through the air, the motion, background motion.
The ambient quality of this game while you play it is great.
So the best part of the graphics from Battlefront is the lighting. That's what makes it seem so realistic.
Yes.
How's the lighting in it?
The lighting in The Division is good. It is. I would say for a beta, it's very good. It's not as good as Battlefront though. Battlefront lighting is top notch.
Yeah.
But it's. I would say based on the beta, I will be buying this game. I probably won't buy it at launch because on the PC by the second day of the beta, or maybe it was the third day, there was reports of people already being able to hack into the settings in the game and make their characters invisible or have super speed or unlimited ammo.
Just like the end of the world, right?
Things, yeah, just like that.
Keeping with that realistic theme there.
And so hopefully Ubisoft has taken note of that, which how could they not have? It's all over Reddit and other gaming sites.
So my main beef with games like this, especially Destiny, is there's no ending. So it forces you to keep on playing, leveling up your character.
Yeah.
And that is like a huge barrier to entry to me because I don't want to spend the rest of my life trying to keep up with everyone else.
You know, and that's a good point. I see what you mean there, but it's definitely a trade-off. If the game is good enough, you're going to play it. If it's not, then you're not. Now, Destiny fizzled. I'll be honest. I bought it twice. I bought it when it launched, played it till I beat the game, and really didn't touch it after that. Got rid of that copy.
Yeah, you got rid of it to me.
Yeah, I sold it to you.
My poor soul who bought that for $30. I want that back.
Half price. And then I bought it again when the Taken King expansion came out, and played it through all the way, and I haven't really touched it since then. The only thing Destiny really, in my opinion, has going for it, if you're not super into grind, is the multiplayer, like PvP. It's classic Bungie Halo style multiplayer.
Never even tried that.
It's really good. I'll give Destiny that. That's really good.
I might have to pick it up just for that then, because that sounds like fun.
And see, what you couldn't do in Destiny is the PvP against people in the campaign and stuff like that, and that's what the Division has. So you can go to these special areas called dark sectors, where basically everything's collapsed in there as far as society goes, and you can team up with other players to go do missions, or you can just go around and be a jerk and kill other players. I ran into a couple of those guys.
Plenty of those online.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the one thing that you got to be careful with. If that kind of stuff frustrates you, you're probably not going to want to pick up the Division, because it frustrates me a little bit, but it's really gratifying when you respawn and you go back and you kill him before he sees you. Yeah, that feels real good. So, overall, I would say the beta has been a success as far as showing that game off. Very polished, which is highly irregular for Ubisoft.
It's true. They've had a lot of problems lately.
Yeah, their launches are usually pretty rocky. But if this is any indicator, as long as they can clamp down on those hacks on the PC version where people can get in and change the game settings on their character outside of the norm, then I think they got something fun on their hands.
So let's talk about something I know we all want to talk about, and that's Battlefront.
Speaking of Battlefront.
So there was a new update a few days ago for Battlefront. It wasn't a huge update, but it did some things. It kind of altered the levels of certain guns, so the Han Solo blaster isn't as powerful as it used to be.
That thing was like God gun.
It kind of still is.
Oh.
The main thing they did was made it so you couldn't shoot it as fast, but I was never able to shoot it that fast anyway. So it kind of evens the playing field a little bit.
I saw a video of someone using that gun to take down a TIE fighter. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Well, you wouldn't be able to take it. That TIE fighter was injured.
Obviously, but still.
Yeah. But I like it. It added a new blast level, which is team deathmatch, basically. And
they didn't have team deathmatch up to this point, did they?
No, they did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've always had it.
They did. I played it. Duh.
Yeah. So Battlefront continues its long path to glory. I know not everyone out there loves it.
You know what?
But I consider it
I like it.
Multiplayer game for more casual gamers, such as myself.
It definitely is for more casual gamers, except the unlocking of items in that game is definitely not for casual players. It takes forever to level up in that game and unlock different guns.
Yeah, I'd have a problem with that if all the things you unlock were worth anything. I like the original blaster the best, and the thermal detonator, which is the very first thing you unlock. So beyond that, there really isn't much I like. But to be in the Star Wars universe, shooting at people.
No, it's awesome.
Oh, yes.
And they nailed the sound effects and the music and everything. Like, it's really good. The other beef I have with that game, though, is how they only released half a game, and you have to pay another $50 to get the other half of the game.
No.
Oh,
So
yeah, totally.
Black Ops 3, it ships with like 8 or 9 team deathmatch levels. This also has 8 or 9 team deathmatch levels, and
No, it doesn't. It has 4.
no, it doesn't.
5?
So there's 4 on Tatooine. There's 2 on Endor, 1 or 2 on Hoth, and then 1 or 2 on Solist.
I just can't tell the difference between those.
So one level's forested, the other one is desert.
That's what I
There's
see.
4 desert ones.
See, you got me. I thought there was one desert one,
No.
one ice one, one
And
jungle.
those are
Spawning in
those are
different
just
areas.
those are the smaller maps. There's huge maps too, and there's 5 separate huge maps. And they'll be releasing more expansions in March and this summer and fall, etc.
I disagree with your statement when you compare it to Black Ops 3, because for your $60 on Black Ops 3 you got a multiplayer game with 8 or 10 maps and a whole bunch of game modes. You got a single player campaign
Which no one plays.
with a story. Regardless, it's there if you want to play it.
But who plays that?
Battlefront has no story mode?
No story
Oh,
mode.
I'm
They have,
out.
They have
See,
training modes.
That's what I'm talking about.
See, I'm out. I'm the casual gamer, so
I know a
Hey,
lot of people that
that's
said that
right.
exact thing.
that's where I go to learn how to play, so that when I go online, I don't feel like an idiot.
No, they definitely have like training levels that you could do solo. So there's like,
Look up, look down, match the lights,
At
calibrate
least.
your
At least.
calibrate your controller. Oh, good.
now there's like bots you can fight and stuff like that.
I
but-
feel like I really need to, in order to really love a game, I need that
You gotta have the campaign.
that campaign to
You gotta
get
have a
behind the story.
story.
So I know I'm throwing thermal detonators and using the original blaster. You know.
They figured they didn't need that because it's Star Wars. Everyone knows about Star Wars.
Everyone does know about Star Wars.
So
Everybody.
I wasn't even done though. The other thing you get with Black Ops 3 is a huge zombie campaign that you can play multiplayer co-op on. I mean, game for your dollar, Black Ops 3 crushes Battlefront. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so they got the zombie thing over Battlefront. The rest is fluff.
And the single player campaign. When you look at Halo, same situation.
Well, you see Halo's on Xbox, and no one owns an Xbox anymore.
I
Yes,
do.
I do.
I do.
Hey, we got Xboxes.
I'm a huge Halo follower. I have to have the story mode. In fact, they've really matured the story mode on that into
Something really cool.
into something really cool with doing the Hunt the Truth series podcast they did and really maturing that story out. You know.
Wait. So you have to listen to a podcast?
No,
to
this is
fully
all
understand the story?
extra.
It's all extra.
It's all extra.
It's really good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all extra. It's not part of the actual game.
Yeah, so if you want to understand the Star Wars game, you got to watch 6 movies, 2 cartoon series.
3 movies. Because
Oh,
it's just the original trilogy.
okay, so we'll throw out the prequels. Nobody watches those anyway.
4 movies then, right? Because
Yeah, 4.
the new
Because
one.
there's Jakku, which is in the 4th movie.
Not really. The Battle of Jakku happened immediately after Return of the Jedi, and it features in the game, but it hardly features in the movie. It's just a setting in the movie.
Yeah.
They don't even talk about the Battle of Jakku in the movie.
Point is, you're dumb. Take that.
That's mature.
I think that settles it.
I'm a mature person. I really, really wanted to like Battlefront though, and I can't.
It's not for everyone, but there are people out there like me who love it.
And I can see, you know what? As far what is it? Technologically, thank you. You can't deny that game is a visual masterpiece.
Oh, it looks so good.
On any console and on the PC, however you want to play it, that game looks amazing.
When I pull up Black Ops 3, the graphics are just like night and day. And it's mainly the lighting. The
It's the
lighting is
lighting,
just
yeah.
so good.
The Call of Duty games have never had superb graphics because
Yeah.
their big thing is 60 frames
Well,
per second.
Battlefront does 60 frames per second.
1080p, 60 frames per
Well,
second.
they do 960p on PS4, a little bit less on Xbox.
720p on the Xbox.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it's hard to tell the difference when you're sitting 15 feet back from your TV.
I can tell. I can always tell.
I can tell too. That's why I do most of my gaming on PC.
Oh,
Get
dang
my
you.
glorious PC master race. Anyway,
So, Tony, you have a new gadget.
I do.
I'm looking at it with
I do.
longing eyes.
And you know what? We'll get to this in a second. We haven't heard from Owen much yet, though.
Oh,
Owen,
I
what do you got for us?
Well, I don't know. I was looking at some gadgets last couple weeks and thinking about home automation. I really like home automation. It's a big thing for me. I don't currently have any home automation, so
But It's a big thing.
But it's a big
Sounds
thing.
like you love
it's
it.
becoming a big thing. I really, really want to love it. So, it sounds, I don't know, sometimes I think it sounds cooler than it is, but, there's obviously the big name brands out there like the Nest thermostat people rave over and all the other stuff. And, Comcast and Xfinity selling their security suite that you can activate all your lights and stuff by phone now. And
AT&T has a huge home automation program.
I like to do it myself. I don't like to give that control up. So I've been looking a lot into the Raspberry Pi things you can do and the Raspberries, Pi Zeros. And one of the things I came across this week was actually a Bluetooth deadbolt. And I thought, well, all right, I'll buy it. I'll look at it. I'll check it out. And
I'll give you a minute of my time.
I gave it a solid 5 minutes of my time before I realized that it's got a long way to go. But the idea is really cool. It's a Bluetooth deadbolt that walks up and it's actually touch sensitive. So you can, and it didn't say in the reviews whether or not that was a fingerprint reader that would all of a sudden unlock the door. But it is touch sensitive. It lights up a blue ring around the lock. But what's really cool about it is the technology behind the Bluetooth. And I'm going to get to why it's a huge failure later. But the cool idea is that you can send people digital keys to your house, and it senses when you're approaching the door with your phone, which could be a security risk if your phone's been stolen. But we're not gonna look at that. So. But anyway, it's really cool. The software kind of has a long way to go as far as the ideas there, but the functionality and the usage is not. So I looked at the Quickset as the brand name, and you can check it out. But it's the Quickset Bluetooth deadbolt, and some of the features behind it that it requires is like USB. It requires the newest Bluetooth 4.0, and currently the only environment it's on is the iPhone environment. So
Wow.
So I kind of was like, okay, that was about at the 4-minute mark of my research into this. So the last 2 minutes was me just finding things I didn't like about it. Yeah. And that was a big downside for me because I really like this DIY home automation stuff. I think that's really cool. To set up, to program these Raspberry Pis and stuff to do cool stuff around your house and have a centralized server and that kind of thing. I think that's really cool. So that's one of the things I had. It does. I mean, if you do have an iPhone, they are actually for sale right now. They're kind of expensive, they're like $220
for a lock.
And the install instructions are pretty intense. If you are replacing an existing lock, then it's not so bad. But a fresh install is pretty rough for the do-it-yourself or first-time lock installer.
How's it powered? Batteries?
Yeah, battery powered. So,
but it will still take a key, right?
Yeah, it still takes the standard
key in case your battery dies.
Exactly, and that's another downside to it is that you can purchase more Bluetooth key licenses through the software, but it only ships.
To purchase new Bluetooth keys.
That's their sellability. That's their expansion. That's their upsell right there. So
purchases.
Yeah, so you buy
your house.
You buy more locks, right? So you have the one physical. It comes with 2 keys, just like a standard deadbolt, and then you can buy more keys. You can send temporary keys to people on their phone, and it stays. It's a whatever one-time use or however many times you want to.
Is there a limit to how many of those you can send out?
I don't think so. No, it didn't. It didn't list that. Yeah, but in the end, it ended up being that it's a $220 deadbolt that can still just get kicked in.
Yeah,
it's not any.
True.
It's not any more secure than a standard deadbolt would be on your house.
The only time I could see that being really awesome is if you're carrying in a bunch of groceries,
right? And
you're like, oh, I don't have any hands free to fumble for keys.
So it opens with your butt then.
So it would
sense you on the
sense your phone with the Bluetooth.
But it still wouldn't latch the other.
Yeah, not the hand. If you've got,
you would still have to turn the doorknob with your butt.
If you still got you'd still have to open the actual door.
Have you done that before?
Many times.
Oh, I'm impressed.
It does unlock it.
I use my butt for all sorts of things.
They also one of the other things I found is that it's also very sensitive to your location. So if you're a tall person and the angle that you come down at the lock, if you're holding your phone, it's within 12 to 18 inches. If you vary from that, it's
Is that what
that's
12
the
to 18
you have to be
inches?
you basically have to be humping your front door
Oh my gosh.
in order to have it work.
See, I was thinking like 10 feet.
No way.
Oh.
They didn't want people to be able to stand 10 feet from your door and start Bluetooth attacking your lock.
Man.
So
I
in
guess
the end,
that makes
I kind of backed off that one for home automation. And I said no way, because if I was a thief, I would just kick in the door, take your stuff, and then take your fancy lock too, and resell it to somebody else. So that I would probably just go kick in their door.
So my friend has another version of this. It's called the Lockatron. I think it was a Kickstarter thing a couple years ago. Anyway, it's similar. It uses Bluetooth to unlock your door, but it's kind of janky looking. It's like the inside portion of it it looked like cheap plastic to me. And he said he kind of had trouble installing it. And anyway, I wasn't too impressed with it.
As well, the inside's a little unsightly. It's probably a good 8 to 10 inch piece of whatever that sits on the inside of your door.
Really?
And, and goes up.
Same with the Lockatron.
Yeah.
My main issue with home automation stuff is I'm just afraid it won't work. You know that 1% of the time that your phone doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi network for some reason? Something similar to that. Like every once in a while, my Nest, for some reason, won't connect to the router, and I can't do anything with it. And it's kind of frustrating. I know they'll work the stuff out eventually, but...
It's a slow process.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, though, especially with the emerging technologies on the phone, to have everything being switched to, like, mobile. No more having to let your dog out when you're on vacation. You can do all unlock doors. Let
I wish
dogs
technology would take care of my dog for me.
Yeah, no more dog pound, no more dog vacation home
Dog sitters.
Dog sitters.
On a related note, does anyone want a dog?
Nope. Got one.
I'm dog free, and I want to keep it that way. Thank you, though.
So that's one of the things I think I'll plan on looking into more, is the Raspberry Pi stuff, where you can turn lights on and off and stuff, all controlled from your home. Have your home on a blueprint on your phone, and when you're away, you can turn stuff on. Like
That's pretty cool.
Christmas lights or house lights, or turn your thermostat up. Like you can already do kind of some of that stuff with Nest, and I think that's going to be a big market for gadgets to move into.
See, there's a similar device, a couple different ones you can get for your garage door. It links up to your garage door and lets you know if it's ever open or closed, or has a camera that shows you if it's open or closed.
For people really obsessed with a garage door.
Well, here's the thing is I am somewhat paranoid about that. Whenever I leave my house, if I'm using the garage, I sit there and I watch it till it closes all the way before I drive away, because it has that stupid laser where if anything breaks the laser, it goes back up.
And have you ever come home and had it been open?
Yeah.
Me too. And you're like,
Does it ruin your life when it's open?
One of these days it will.
You don't know. You walk in the house like, I'm a 6-foot man that's scared.
I'm going to get shanked.
I'm going to get shanked. I don't know who's in here. Could be anybody.
Someone wants to steal my garage door opener?
You do keep your drinks out there in the
I
garage.
know.
That's a tragedy.
That's what I'm saying. If anyone took my drinks, I'll be pissed. But... So, I mean, in that case, I think more than anything, you're paying for peace of mind with a lot of these home automation things, so you can access them while you're away, check on your house while you're away, things like that. And to a lot of people, that's totally worth it.
I think for me, the reason why I want the do-it-yourself is because I'm a very security paranoid person, and you hear these stories about providers like Comcast and whatever that they're like, yeah, it's totally secure, and then big companies are big targets.
Your butt is pretty secure.
That's true.
But big
I'm
companies,
the only one with access to my butt.
That's very secure. But big companies are big targets, and so these guys are out there selling security systems every summer, pushing it to hundreds of people, in communities a week in communities that they're just like, no, it's totally secure. But you read reviews and you look on the internet, and you can definitely find vulnerabilities where people can take over. They can hack the cameras that Xfinity puts in, and view, all sorts of stuff.
There's always vulnerabilities.
And so I'm one of those do it yourself internal.
Did you ever watch Mr. Robot?
I did watch Mr.
You want to
Robot.
talk about security vulnerabilities?
Yeah.
Did you watch that, Jaron?
No, so we can't talk about it.
Oh man. That is a messed up show.
You should check that one out.
It was really cool. Check out Mr. Robot. I'm putting that on your list of things to do in the next couple of weeks.
Mr. Robot?
Yeah,
Mr. Robot.
The first season was was amazing.
So
Christian Slater.
is he a robot?
Nope. But
Oh,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
So
There's
disappointing.
no robots in Mr. Robot. Sorry.
except for the
man.
corporations.
Freaking corporate robots.
Christian Slater, though, does a great job.
Yeah, he was really good in it. The main character was amazing.
Yeah, he was too.
Okay, so like Jaron said a few minutes ago, I have a new gadget, a new work station that work got me.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It is
Work bought this for you?
yes,
Oh.
it is a Surface Book, and now I am going to review it. Dun dun dun. So they got me the 512 gig i7 16 gig of RAM model.
Fully maxed out.
Basically, up until a week ago, it was the fully maxed out.
Right, they
option.
came out with a new terabyte
1
SSD.
terabyte, which, if you ask me, complete waste of money, because to go from a 512 gig to a 1 terabyte is a difference of $700.
And
Wow.
who stores things on a hard drive anymore?
Are you kidding? $700 for
It's
that?
$600 or $700. I can't remember which to go from 512 to 1 terabyte. Absurd.
That'd be interesting to know the upgradability of this thing.
There's absolutely zero upgradability of this thing. So if you're going to get one, get exactly the specs you want. If you want to try and future-proof it, spend a little extra money. I would recommend definitely go with 16 gigs of RAM. Just because, unless you're not going to use it that intensively, in which case you have no business buying one anyway. Because it is a powerhouse of a machine for how thin it is. And it has so much potential to be awesome. I've been using it for about a week and a half, but I'll just give you my review, my number for the review on it right now. I give it a 3 out of 10.
What? Wow.
3 out of 10.
Not surprised.
I'm very surprised.
Let me tell you why. The potential and the expectations for this device were so high that it's already starting out at a deficit. Okay? I wanted to love this machine so much. But it has issues. This isn't the one I started out with a week and a half ago.
Oh, really?
This is the second one. I had to return the first one because it has... Now, Microsoft has already come out and said, we know there's a problem with the sleep functionality on it, and it's supposed to be fixed in a firmware early this year, a firmware update. Okay, that's great. That's fine.
A major function of the computer we sold isn't working.
Yeah.
We know about it, so you guys should be happy.
The sleep's been around since
What, like...
3.1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forever. Okay. And they didn't get that right. Okay. The thing's really fast and it boots real fast, so it's not a deal breaker, especially since they say they're going to fix it. I'll let that slide. But the thing that double sucks about it is not only does it not go to sleep correctly, if it goes to sleep, it does not come out of sleep correctly. I've had to hard reset trying to come out of a sleep like 3 times.
So you set it to never sleep?
I just set it to never sleep now.
Yeah.
And when I need to go somewhere, I turn it off. I turn it off and fold it up and put it in my backpack. I'll forgive those problems because they say they're going to fix them. What I will not forgive is random shutdowns 7 times in 1 hour last Thursday when I'm trying to work from home. I'll just be working on it, do. All of a sudden, blink, screen goes black, everything's dead.
Overheating?
I could not notice if it was hot or not because it never got that hot.
No fans on it. It looks
No,
like
there's some fans inside. You can hear them spin up when it gets warm.
Oh, okay.
So
Now you have me worried about the fate of this very podcast. It could just shut down right now.
well, this is the second one. I haven't had any issues with this one. I've had it for 9 hours.
Oh.
So I noticed especially it would have issues if I would grab the corner, the upper left-hand corner of the screen, and bend the screen forward or backwards to try and position it to avoid glare or whatever. That was almost always going to shut it off. And so I took it off its dock, put it back on its dock, rebooted it a bunch of times, not including the times when it shut off by itself, and still had the issue. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll let it go for another couple days and see what happens. So I'm using it earlier today, this morning, and the freaking thing on its dock, connected to power, I'm using the keyboard and everything through the dock and the monitors, just typing along, and all of a sudden, bloop, just turns off. Well, that's crap. Maybe it was overheating or something. I feel the back of it. It's warm, not hot, just warm.
And this was the old computer, not
This
the
is
new
the
one.
old one. And so I say, well, maybe a fluke or something. So I'm turning it back on. 20 minutes later, typing along, blah, 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 bloop, just turns off again.
No way.
I was like, this is crap.
That is a pet peeve.
So I called up our purchasing guy and I said, did you order any extras of these? Because mine is broken. And so he said, yeah, we'll get another one ready for you. So they got another one ready for me. And so I'm using that one now. Now, while I was putting in the request to swap it out with a different one, it went down again. I think it knew that I was trying to get rid of it. So I'm on round 2 now, and it's been a lot better. But, man, if you're going to pay $2,700 for a device,
You want it to work.
you want it to work and work
Wow.
consistently. So
So
I might revise my review later based on my experience with this one. But as of now, 3 out of 10, do not recommend. I would not spend money on this device.
I sure like the look of it.
Oh, like
How
I
do-
said, the potential for this device is amazing. It looks fantastic. The screen resolution is phenomenal.
That's what I was going to ask.
The
How's
screen is so pretty. 3000 by 2000 resolution.
Wow, okay.
Ooh.
And it is a gorgeous display. The keyboard feels great. It's got a dedicated GPU inside the keyboard. Nothing fancy. Equivalent of a 940M from NVIDIA. It's still, enough to do whatever. You're not going to game hardcore on it, though. Depending on use, between 6 and 10 hours of battery life when you have the keyboard on there, and less than 4 when the keyboard's off and it's in tablet mode. So the keyboard has not only the GPU, but it has more battery in it. But it just, like I said, it had tons of potential. And the pen that it comes with, the pencil thing, really cool. Very accurate, very, very responsive when you start drawing with it. Like, there's almost no lag. It's fantastic. But, man, if you're going to shut off on me when I'm in the middle of typing an email, no way. And here's why I don't think it was heat-related. Because I decided to run Prime 95 on it while I was working.
To smash it.
Just to smash it.
Right.
That puts the CPU between 90% and 100% the entire time Prime 95 is running and uses a bunch of RAM. And I watched the temps, too. The temps sat there at about between 78 and 80 degrees Celsius on both cores for half an hour.
And nothing.
And I felt the back of it, and it was hot. Like, not like uncomfortable hot, but definitely hot. And so I'm like, well, it's definitely not a heat issue.
Yeah, it would have
because
gone.
I was pounding it for the last half hour, and it had no problems. What?
If you just heard that sentence in a different context, it would be a
Questionable.
very interesting sentence.
So I was pounding it for half an hour. And, so it's I don't know what the problem was. I couldn't figure anything out. So they're going to take that other one back and replace it and just put the replacement in stock. But
So I may have a chance to get a new computer in the next few months. And I was really excited for this. I wanted to get a Surface Book of my own, but now I'm not so sure.
I'm telling you, like, I'll let you know. I'll update the review if this one's quality. I'll update my review. But if it's not, if I have issues with this one as well, it'll stay at a 3 out of 10 because.
So for me, the two top choices, assuming the Surface Book actually worked, was the Surface Book and the Dell XPS 15.
I've read a couple reviews on that one. That's a beast.
Yeah, Ars Technica recently reviewed it, and it is a nice computer. So the XPS 13 and 15, they basically have no bezels in the screen.
Yeah,
So
I've seen a 13, and it is gorgeous.
yeah. They're covered with aluminum or metal or whatever it is, of course. But the bezel's so small, even though it's a 13-inch screen, it's actually in the footprint of like a 11.5-inch laptop. And same thing with the 15-inch. It's more the size of a 14-inch laptop. But you can get it maxed out. It has a 960M in it, NVIDIA 960M.
That's a decent little graphics card.
Yeah. And it has a 4K touchscreen.
Let me tell you, on a 15-inch display, I wouldn't get a 4K. Having this one that's 3000 by 2000 It's cool, and I used for quite a while. I used a Razer Blade, 2014 edition with it was 3200 by 1800 resolution, so fairly close to 4K.
Right.
Not worth it. Windows just
Yeah,
doesn't scale good.
Yeah, they do have scaling issues for sure.
Even on Windows 10, it's kind of like, it's better. It's better. Don't get me wrong, but it's just you don't need that kind of pixel density in a 15-inch laptop.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Another thing with this XPS 15, it has the 45-watt processors rather than the
15
crappy 15
whatever.
watt. So you got a real processor in there, so
cool.
you can do some real stuff. But it's a nice computer, and it's
probably cheaper than a Surface Book too.
Indeed, it is. It is cheaper. Dell has really done a good job with the XPS 13 and 15, and given their history the last few years, it's surprising.
Yeah, much needed as well.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. I'm drooling a little bit. Anyway.
We should cut this part out.
Yep.
You should edit this part. Awkward pause.
Owen, you have a new phone.
I have a new Gadget.
I think you should review that, and we'll probably wrap it up with that.
Okay, so
You get 3 reviews on this podcast. Division Beta, Surface Book, and a new phone. What phone?
So this phone is the Nexus 6P. This is the new one that came out. They pushed it out, released in November or October.
Just a couple of months.
That's how timely we are.
October 2015. So it just barely came out.
If anyone wants to send us stuff to review more recent than what we can buy ourselves, feel free.
So our one listener out there,
send us stuff.
Go for it.
Please. But no, I don't think I've ever said this about a phone before. I've been a Samsung snob for a while.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I like their.
I knew there was for TVs. I've never heard anyone be a Samsung snob for phones.
I like their phones. I kind of passed on their tablets, but I've had the Galaxy S series for a while. Had the Galaxy S, skipped the 2, got the 3, got the 4, got the 5. Conveniently cracked screens that work paid for, but we're not going to go there. So
sounds inconvenient.
It was, yeah.
Just say yes.
Yes. But recently, I had to purchase my own phone, which was painful after so many years of having worked by it. And I did a lot of research on this one and ended up going with the Nexus 6P. And you have to know, I'm typically not a fan of the phablet, the big and use a stylus like the Notes, the Galaxy Notes. I kind of always stayed away from those. But this one I went with, and it's not actually that much bigger than like the 6 Plus, the iPhone 6 Plus. If anybody's, I know that one's a lot more popular as far as holding it and looking at it. But I actually went with it because I really like the specs. It drops a little bit in comparison to the Galaxy. It doesn't have a couple of the features I really like.
Like what?
Like the IR blaster, that's gone.
Really?
No more
Did
IR
you
blaster.
use that?
I use
the IR blaster.
You don't use the IR blaster?
way.
Oh man, I had the remote for my TVs on there, and I
You
could
gotta
just.
be kidding.
Oh, that was a blast. You could mess with people.
It was a blast.
It was a blast. You
IR
get that?
blaster.
I just imagine you with a big smile on your face using the IR blaster in your phone.
Yeah, totally. I was like, can you believe this technology, Martha?
It has an IR blaster.
It's good
Palm
turn-
Pilots had it.
And turning on the projector randomly in classes was always fun. Messing with the channels at Walmart also enjoyable. Yeah, but also then when I was lazy and couldn't find my remote, I could actually use it. So that was one thing that's down for me. But
We're not gonna count that one for us.
yeah, for the rest of the people that are technologically advanced, I guess Air Blaster's old news.
Where's my IR blaster?
They took it away. But people complained. Real people. I saw the reviews. Other people complained too. And Samsung apparently is going to be bringing it back.
Did they take it out for the last round?
Samsung took it out for, I believe,
That alone is the cause of their sales problems right now.
I think you're right.
They took out the IR blaster.
and all of the me's out there went, I'm not buying that. iPhone took it out of theirs as well. I mean, I don't know if they've
iPhone
ever.
never had one.
I don't think. Yeah, they never had one. So it kind of compared there. It doesn't have the laser focusing, the stabilization for the camera that the Galaxy S6 had for this.
Are we talking about laser focus or optical image
That's what it is.
stabilization?
Sorry, the optical it has the laser focus.
Okay, I thought it
but
did.
it doesn't have the optical stabilization.
And that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I've noticed a difference. In fact, I grabbed my brother-in-law has the Galaxy 6 Edge, and I compared it directly, and it's a noticeable difference. And then the cameras, the megapixels for this, they kind of cheaped out on. I think they went with the 12 megapixel camera.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think that throwing tons and tons of megapixels into the camera is going to make it any better. But as far as a comparison goes, if you're one of those people that goes, well, what are all the pluses and where are all the?
This one has less pickles.
This one, yeah, pickle. Just if you
Pickles.
care about IR blasters, then you're going to care about the number of pixel things in the camera thing.
How much RAMs does it have?
This one actually comes with 3 gigs of RAM.
Oh, really?
Versus the Galaxy 6 comes with the 6. I mainly compared this against the Galaxy 6, and the Galaxy 6 comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM, but it far outperforms the Galaxy.
You think so?
It does, I believe so. The TouchWiz features that the Galaxy 6 requires, and all the bloatware that Samsung throws on there.
I hate TouchWiz.
You're right.
That is why they have to have that other gigabyte of RAM. It's also got the 810 Snapdragon chip in it, which is
the
new.
chip that overheats.
This is the version that doesn't supposedly.
Yeah, this is the one that doesn't supposedly. We'll see. I haven't pushed it to that length, but some other features coming out like in the software and stuff. It comes shipped with the Marshmallow Android, which is cool. That's eventually coming out to all Android devices. But it's not
eventually. It's never going to happen.
Yes. So, but one of the really cool things I like about it is the battery life on it. The new Marshmallow software, the new Marshmallow Android has doze mode, and I've actually been testing the battery over the last 3 weeks I've had this phone, and I've been able to keep. I mean, with excessive gaming, watching streaming videos, full on usage, and then not plugging in my phone. I've woke up I've got up the next morning and had 20% left on my battery after a full day's usage.
Nice.
Because it has light sensors and switches into doze mode when it sees. And you can actually look at the reviews online and actually see charts where it will dip if you watch the processor. It will dip and you'll see the power consumption drop way off. So
can I see it?
yeah, here you go. Feel that.
I'll feel it.
The ergonomics.
He's doing it.
Whoa.
He's putting it on his crotch.
I don't think my phone deserves that.
He does that.
I have to put that by my face.
He does that with every new piece of technology he touches.
Comes with aluminum out.
That passed the test.
Oh my gosh.
It's got the aluminum case. Kind of feels a lot like the iPhone 6 in that regard.
Yeah, it does.
Fingerprint scanner is on. Were you talking about how it feels on your crotch? Did you do that with your crotch or with your?
No
What
comment.
did I say?
Oh man!
Every piece of new technology he
Having-
picks up. Now it
horrible-
goes. You were lucky because he kept it outside the pants.
Right.
So.
You're lucky we're using the Surface Book to record this podcast right now.
Oh, jeez. No.
But fingerprint scan. So other cool features on the buttons on the side are all on one side. I kind of like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So volume and power are both on one side. The camera on the back has
I don't
kinda,
like that.
It kind of has a raised bezel, raised on the back where the sensors are and where the camera is. Another cool feature about it is the fingerprint scanner is right in the back, and
That's fast.
and it's super fast.
It not recognizes my finger very quickly.
I've tested it; it's almost immediate.
Wow.
So the
That's faster than my iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, so that's one of the things they really tote too is the security on there. You can add multiple fingerprints just like on the other biometric scanning phones. Right. But if you watch this, we'll go from locked to unlocked. So it's locked, and now it's up with my fingerprint.
That was fast, ladies and gentlemen.
Do it again.
Do it again. Here we go.
And he touches the back. Oh, that was fast.
This is good radio, guys.
Good radio. You guys, can you see this out there? No, you can't. Oh, right. It's really fast.
The point is, it's fast.
But overall, the 3 gigabytes of RAM that it has are are sufficient. I like it a lot. The processing power has been great. Phone calls are clear and everything's good. Speakers, it's got front-facing stereo speakers on which I
love that feature.
There's only a couple of phone manufacturers that are doing that.
Yeah, and
HTC isn't even doing it anymore. In their latest phones, they don't do it anymore.
I don't.
With the M line, are you sure?
Yeah, that's like
no, the M9 has it. They haven't released the M10 yet.
No, the A10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Their new flagship doesn't have it.
That was a big thing for me too, because I kind of never understood the idea of a reverse speaker now, because
it makes no sense.
It
right?
makes no sense to broadcast the sound away from me, and I just end up cupping my hands trying to make it, when I want to watch a video and I have it up on a kickstand or something.
This is something all phone manufacturers need to get on board with. Front-facing speakers. Even if it's only one, that's okay.
Speakerphone's better. Everything's better.
Yep.
When it's front-facing. I mean, unless I want to use it as a megaphone, then maybe I could put it out that way.
That's years in the future.
Years.
That's years away.
Anyway.
At least one.
Overall, I love the phone. I've never said this about a phone before, and I'm going to officially go on record saying this about a phone. I love it as much as one of my children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Only one of them, though.
Only one. I have
But
two.
your phone isn't tax deductible though, like your kids are.
Well, that all depends on your definition of tax fraud.
All right. What score do you give it?
I'm going to give this the autofocus or the stabilization on the camera kind of bugs me. Can't get full marks because of that.
Lack of OIS.
Yep. And other than that, just the price point on it, you can't get this in any of the stores. You have to buy this from the Google Play Store.
Right.
The price came in at like $530 for the 32 gigabyte model, which is pretty steep.
That is steep.
And they have the 64 gigabyte and the 128, and 128 was another $150.
Does it have a micro SD card expansion?
No micro SD card expansion.
So you're limited to whatever.
Whatever you get in it is
storage.
it.
Sounds like an Apple product.
It does a lot.
Same thing with I believe the Galaxy 6
yeah.
pulled it as well. It's kind of a thing. It kind of bugged me because I liked that as a transfer device if I needed it or whatever. So I'm just because of that, I'm giving an 8 overall out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, I really like it. It's going to be my phone for, my wife says, forever. So
because she's not going to allow you to buy another one.
That's it. That's
what she doesn't know can't hurt her.
So got a good case for it, and did not purchase the extra warranty on it. Google Play actually has that. You can expand the warranty just like any other place, but I really like the shopping experience I had with Google. I would probably shop with them again for
You
phones.
mean online?
Yeah, well, just like their store and the way that they sell it and present it and everything is very easy to do. If you're in the Google verse,
Nice.
it's very easy. It felt very comfortable.
Sweet. 8 out of 10. That's good score.
8 out of 10.
That's respectable.
Give me expandable memory, expandable hard drive space, and that stabilization. I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
But this display and everything too is pretty top notch.
Now that's a 2560 by 1440 resolution, right? It's
Yeah.
QHD.
Yes.
Yeah, no wonder. That's some high pixel density right there.
Yeah.
So many pixels.
So many pixels.
So much density.
Did you want to talk about that, or is that for our lightning round?
No, this is some serious stuff right here.
All right. We'll hit this up.
I can't make this up. Dutch police train bald eagles to take out drones.
Have you seen the footage of this?
Yes.
It's pretty awesome. I'm worried for the eagle's talons though, because those blades on the drones can be kind of harsh.
They have video of this?
Eagles can be harsh.
Oh man, I have to see
Can be harsh. No, it's really cool. You see this drone flying along, and then an eagle comes from the other direction and just grabs it and flies away.
This is like Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars or something.
Why didn't they just use the eagles from the beginning?
Who needs a drone when you got an eagle?
Yeah.
And why use an endangered bird?
Well, maybe in Dutchland, Holland?
Dutchland.
Deutschland.
Maybe, no, that's Germany. I know that one.
I'm pretty sure it's called Dutchland.
Maybe in Dutchland, eagles aren't endangered.
There's so many questions.
Or they don't care because it's not the national bird. Maybe they
another
eat
thing, yes.
eagles over there.
I hear they're delicious.
So apparently it's a test phase.
Yeah.
And so they're not, this isn't official yet, but I want this to happen on so many levels.
Well, I mean, it's not even that hard to do. You look at falconers, and they teach their falcons and their birds of prey to take out pigeons and stuff. I mean,
Didn't Austin Powers do this with lasers on sharks? I mean,
yeah.
and we've trained dolphins to
That was a
blow up
movie.
mines, right?
Nuh-uh.
We've used dolphins in, I believe.
Are you sure?
Wait,
about
wait, wait,
that?
wait. You're using dolphins personally?
No, I don't use dolphins.
Oh.
They don't trust me anymore.
Well, when you said we, I was really hopeful.
We, the Society of the Human Species.
I still have my trust from the dolphins.
That's true. Austin Powers was a video. I'm sorry. I often confuse reality and fantasy.
Sometimes I get confused
I'm easily confused.
with what's real and what's just in my head. Oh, eagles. That's cool. I
And they
guess.
actually have video of this. You can actually,
I've
day and age.
I've seen the video. It's true.
Wow. Okay,
You can go check it out.
I'm gonna
Google
have to go look that up.
Eagles taking down drones or something like
If
that.
it was like falcons or just normal eagles, it'd be one thing. But bald eagles?
It's like America's taking down drones.
But it's not America doing it. It's
But the
Dutch.
bald eagle is ours.
I know. It's
Ben Franklin had his way. It would be the turkey. Did you know that?
Who had their way and made it the eagle?
Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to take down drones?
Yes.
Because it
Wait,
actually
no.
might
What
be
kind of
significant.
alternate history is this? I want to be a part of
He wanted to be the national bird.
Ben Franklin actually wanted the national bird to be turkey. Exactly.
Which would kind of be relevant to the whole Indians and Thanksgiving and the bird
so
saving.
we eat our national bird every year.
Well, maybe we'd
That's
be
probably why it didn't happen.
Maybe we'd be eating eagles
Wasn't marketable.
at Thanksgiving.
I bet they taste really good.
No way. Eagles?
Yeah.
They eat garbage, dude.
They are
Bald eagles?
They are almost carrion birds.
I don't believe it.
No, it's true. Look it up. Eagles are dirty. They're scavengers, man, most of the time.
They eat fish. They with their big talons, they go to
Yeah,
a lake,
on
grab a
National
fish.
Geographic, when it looks good,
Yeah.
the rest of the time they eat whatever they can find.
Garbage on the seashore.
Learn about your bird. Jeez.
Next time I come here, I will brush up on my bird knowledge.
All right, that's about all we got time for. Next week, or in 2 weeks, for that matter, because this is an every other week podcast, we're going to hit on some different stuff, which is we're going to do a lightning round right now. Tell us about one thing you're going to talk about next week. Go.
I'm going to talk about the Windows Phone being dead.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. Great. Jared,
I got nothing.
you got nothing. Tony, I'm going to review Fallout 4. I was going to do it this episode, but I forgot.
That's a good enough reason.
Yep, that's the end. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.